You are Locked On Celtics Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Boston, on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Well, Derrick White, a great night. Jaylen Brown, a great night. For the first time, I think this season, we can say a frustrating night and a frustrating loss for the Celtics. Welcome into our latest Locked On Celtics postcast. I'm Steve Lennox, longtime basketball play-by-play announcer, Quinnipiac University, filling in at the University of Delaware, Maryland, Eastern Shore, LaSalle, and also college basketball on the ESPN networks, and a former national show host on ESPN Radio and satellite radio. You are locked on, and you're right where you need to be with the Locked On Celtics postcast. We are providing reaction to every Celtics game on the Locked On Sports Boston YouTube channel, as well as the Locked On Celtics podcast feed, which you know is free and available wherever you get your podcasts. With our latest Locked On Celtics postcast, we're going to talk about the Celtics losing to the Atlanta Hawks. Beat them in Atlanta by 30 last week. Lost to the Hawks at home Tuesday night at TD Garden. They're banged up. They're missing several key players, including Trae Young. Didn't matter. Atlanta stuck around, and ended up picking up the victory. Let's hear from you, our everydayers, our first-timers. Join the conversation watching live on the Locked On Sports Boston YouTube channel. Hit the comment button. Join the Celtics conversation. Give us your one random thought on the Celtics loss to the Atlanta Hawks, the first game in the NBA Cup for both teams. This episode brought to you by FanDuel. You can start the season with a big return on FanDuel. New customers can place a $5 bet, and you'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you pick up a win with that first $5 bet. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. So, Celtics entered 9-2. Hawks under 500. No Trae Young for the first time this season for Atlanta. And the Hawks able to pick up the victory. First game in the NBA Cup. Big first quarter for Jaylen Brown. And we're going to check in right away with the comments as we get into here. Mike Driscoll checks in with us. Hey, everyone. Let's try and make some sense of this loss. This one stung. Mike, agree with you 100%. Pascal, great to have you on board with us as well. Pascal, what was that? Hawks just bullied the C's. Who is this Dyson Daniels kid? Jalen Johnson, triple-double. Pascal not mincing words, saying, quote, that was, don't want to misquote Pascal. That was pathetic. I don't go that far. But boy, oh boy, especially you needed that one more score. I mean, Jason Tatum's your third leading scorer. He's got 20, nobody else. Brown, huge first quarter. Brown, 6 of 10, 16 points in the first quarter. Celtics up by 2 after the first quarter. That first quarter saw a handful of lead changes. There was not a lead change from the second quarter until late in the fourth quarter when Atlanta took the lead for good. History for the Celtics. Jason Tatum, first quarter, passing Tommy Heinsohn. He now is 12th on the Celtics all-time scoring list. Bill Sharman is next on the Celtics all-time scoring list at 11 with 12,287 career points. Hauser had a late 3 in the first quarter, but a big part of that first quarter was a big part of the game. The Hawks had 8 offensive rebounds. First NBC Boston reference, Brian Scalabrine, noting several times throughout the first 3 quarters. Yes, they beat them up on the offensive glass, but the Hawks did not take advantage in those situations. They had very few second chance points, but offensive rebound, Okongwu, fourth quarter late, the putback, that proved to be the game winner. The Celtics had an opportunity in that fourth quarter. It was right there. The inbounds play, they get the turnover. Brown had a look, missed the shot, potential game winner. And that's all you can ask for in the closing seconds of a game like that. Come up with some sort of play. And I think it was Tatum on the inbounds helped create the turnover. The Celtics had an opportunity, but couldn't get it done. They had a foul to give in that situation as well. Shot put up, Okongwu, offensive rebound, the putback, and that was it. 13 lead change in the first quarter. There wasn't another lead change until the closing seconds of the fourth quarter. Atlanta, again, sticking around all night. They were down 2 after 1. They were down 11 going into the locker room. Mike checking back in. When you look at the stats, the Hawks should have destroyed the Celtics. They took 25 more shots total. It is concerning how the Celtics playing against a team with a fast pace like that. Fast and physical. You might see it again tomorrow night against the Brooklyn Nets, and I alluded to it against the Bucks a little bit. Not that you won by 30 last time out. They were, again, without a lot of players. Bogdanovich, DeAndre Hunter. Now Trae Young is out. And they played like a team that said, you know what? We don't have to worry about our superstar. Free and easy. Nance played well off the bench. And it's not always about the one bench outscoring the other, but it was that for the Atlanta Hawks in the win. And you don't just put it all on the bench play. Hauser had a couple of threes. But overall, the bench, Atlanta 38 bench points to the Celtics 12. 9 wins on the season, right? 9 victories for the Celtics, now 9-3 through their first 12. This is really the first time where you didn't hear about the other names. Cade, a couple of occasions, had a couple of blocks in one quarter. But not much else. You didn't hear the names an awful lot. Cornette, just 4 minutes. Walsh, 4 minutes. Pritchard, 25 minutes off the bench. Hauser, 19. And Cada. They all played almost, 2 of them played 20-plus minutes. Cada was right there at 9. Cada did not score, did not take a shot attempt, had 5 rebounds, and I mentioned a couple of blocks. One big one, his first of the night, was against Capella. That was an emphatic block. But you did not hear an awful lot about the other guys off the bench. Drew Holiday, 36 minutes. Wait a second. Drew Holiday, 29 minutes. Brown, 36 minutes. White, 38 minutes. 37 minutes for Tatum. Why am I mentioning that? Because we know what happens tomorrow night. You're on a plane. You're off to New York after a tough loss. And there are going to be tough losses over the course of the season. Absolutely. But the way Atlanta was depleted, Celtics had 51 points in the second half. 66 for Atlanta. Easy enough. Down by 11 at the half, win by 1, 117-116. And again, in this game, 1 lead change, and that was the game winner. Celtics led by as many as 8 in that fourth quarter. Couldn't close the door on the Atlanta Hawks. And Scalabrine again, saying it, NBC Sports Boston reference. It wasn't as much the Celtics losing the game, but they did lose this one. But the Atlanta Hawks, give them all the credit in the world. I've mentioned it several times. Let's see what the Hornets are the next time they play the Celtics. They dropped both games at home a few weeks ago. That was the first back-to-back. Now the Celtics with a back-to-back. Lose in Atlanta at home. Now go to Brooklyn. You're looking for a split because you don't want to lose 2 in a row for the first time this season to Eastern Conference opponents. Going to get into the NBA Cup. I'm going to be short with it. Coming up in the next segment. We'll get into it. Driscoll, 68 points in the paint. Yeah, that's another big one. Got to protect the paint. You not only have to protect the paint, you got to keep guys out of the paint. Right now, the 3 wins, Pacers, Warriors, and now the Atlanta Hawks. And go back to Friday. Friday, Sunday, Nets, Bucks, they jumped out to early leads, could not protect those leads. We could be close to hitting the panic button right now if they dropped either one of those games. Again, Brown was out, returned Sunday. Back, big game, 30-plus. I believe both Brown, White definitely had a season high. I believe Brown did as well. Derrick White, 4 for 4 on the three-point line. That's a game right there. 2 guys, 30-plus points. Falls short. It's a tough one. It is a tough one. But if you look back at the last couple of games, you could really be close to pushing the panic button. But you're not there. You're not there. Even if you lose against the Nets and you've dropped 2 in a row for the first time this season, you're not there. But there are some signs right now. Everyone excited about how the bench has been playing, but the bench, a lot of times, bench players are bench players for a reason. And this team, good luck breaking the starting 5 without injury, right? We've seen that already this season. The guys off the bench, it's got to be night in, night out. And I mentioned the minutes here in segment number 1 of our latest Locked On Celtics postcast. And the minutes are big considering the fact that you have to go back to back. And when I mentioned the minutes, Friday and the comeback win against Brooklyn, Sunday and the road comeback win over the Milwaukee Bucks, whether you're expending a lot of energy or not, those things can come back and get you. The Nets lost to the Celtics last Friday. The next night, they got blown out in the fourth quarter by the still perfect Cleveland Cavaliers. It's a tough one. Numbers of the night coming up, third segment. Derrick White, huge night. Brown, a big first quarter. Jason Tatum passing Tommy Heinsohn on the Celtics all-time scoring list. That's an impressive list. We know that. Bill Sharman next up for Jason Tatum to pass. And, Jaylen Brown's not really that far behind him. The Hawks pick up the victory. And, again, credit to them. Really. You've got to give them all the credit in the world. Because Jalen Johnson comes in with a triple-double, 18, 13 rebounds, 10 assists. And they just had a terrific game overall. Got a note written here on my board. I have no idea. Atlanta. I don't know. Doesn't matter right now. But Johnson had a terrific game. Nance hit some big shots. They pick up the win. Again, if you're with us, want to touch on something with us, Locked On Sports Boston YouTube channel. If you're joining us, we do appreciate it as always. And keep the conversation going. Norm Peterson here. Norm on the bar steal. Celtics need to get abysmally better in the paint. That's a weakness. KP is needed as that rim protector. Yeah, because Cade is still learning how to do it. Again, he had a couple of blocks. Sometimes leaves his man. I didn't see enough of that last sequence. I probably should have paid attention to it. I was kind of scrambling to get ready and get on here on how Okongwu got that and was able to get it and put it back in for the game-winning bucket. But again, the Celtics had opportunity, but they gave up 66 points in that second half. Or in the 66 points in the second half total. And there are just a lot of different things that stick out. And we're gonna be critical of the fact that, again, could have picked up the win. 68 points in the paint for Atlanta, 32 for the Celtics. But that's going to be the Celtics on some nights. You don't want it that lopsided. But when you're shooting the three as much as they do, and knock down 18, 40% on the three-point line, 51% overall, 38 of 75. Atlanta, 50% for the game. But Atlanta, look at that right there. There's one for numbers of the night. I'll get back into that. But a 20-6 advantage on the offensive boards. And the number 25 is something we'll touch on in segment number 3. 1-point victory for the Hawks. They come back, get the late lead, able to hold on as Jaylen Brown missed on a potential game winner. We're going to get into the NBA Cup coming in the next segment. Do want to hear from you. I want to hear your thoughts as we go into a live read here on the NBA Cup because they might be the same as mine. I'll hit yours before I share mine if you join us right now on the Locked On Sports Boston YouTube channel. Hit the comment button and join the conversation. Frustrating night, big night for White, big night for Brown. Kind of lost in the mix as the Celtics lose by 1 at home to the Atlanta Hawks playing without their superstar, Trae Young. And our Locked On Celtics postcast against Celtics losing by 1, brought to you by Mint Mobile, new sponsor on the Locked On Celtics postcast and Locked On NBA. With big wireless providers, what you see is never what you get. Somewhere between the store and your first month's bill, the price you thought you were paying magically skyrockets. With Mint Mobile, you'll never have to worry about the gotchas ever again. When Mint Mobile says $15 a month when you purchase a 3-month plan, they mean it. So bye-bye to your overpriced wireless plans, jaw-dropping monthly bills, and unexpected overages. Mint Mobile is there to rescue with the premium wireless plan starting at $15 a month. All plans come with high-speed data and unlimited talk and text delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. Use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and bring your phone number along with all your existing contacts. Ditch overpaid wireless with Mint Mobile's deal and get 3 months of premium wireless service for $15 a month. To get this new customer offer and your new 3-month premium wireless plan for just $15 a month, go to mintmobile.com/LockedOnNBA. Again, that is mintmobile.com/LockedOnNBA. That's mintmobile.com/LockedOnNBA. Cut your wireless bill to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/LockedOnNBA And don't forget, $45 upfront payment required, equivalent to $15 a month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Speeds are slower at 40 gigabytes on unlimited plan. Additional taxes, fees, and restrictions do apply. See mintmobile.com for more details. So the Celtics fall at home. Get into your comments. We're going to get into here to the NBA Cup because I don't know if this is jilted just because the Celtics lost the game or not, but I think we're trying too hard with this NBA Cup. Again, share your thoughts on it. Locked On Sports Boston YouTube channel. Want to acknowledge our everydayers for making Locked On Celtics with John Corrales and the Locked On Celtics postcast their first listen every day. John's got terrific numbers. We acknowledge John has established our Locked On Celtics postcast audience for us. We do appreciate it. But our numbers are terrific, both on the YouTube channel and on the podcast, available wherever you get your podcasts as well. Appreciate it. And we continue to build what we're doing, going live with the Locked On Celtics postcast almost immediately following every single game. So the Celtics now 9-3, can't win 3 in a row. And will now look to avoid a second straight loss. Have not lost 2 in a row at any point this season so far. Hawks again, gutty performance, strong victory, 1-1 now in the season. Hit the comment button here. Let's see where we're at. Mike, Celtics were up 81-66 in the third, and Boston took the foot off the gas, in my opinion, even telegraphing passes, which led to easy Hawks buckets. Yeah, Atlanta was playing aggressively in the lanes most of the game. Look up one number here. The Celtics, 20 turnovers. That's a big number, 20-16. 16 steals for Atlanta. Dyson Daniels, I believe, tied a career high. He had 6 steals and 6 turnovers. He had 6 of their 16 turnovers. But, yeah, they were aggressive in the passing lanes. And I would agree, Mike, with the passing just wasn't that crisp. You know, after each game, we go live here with the Locked On Celtics postcast, but even after that, and then the next day, I go NBC Sports Boston and get a lot of the post-game comments and see some of the highlights. And, you know, the highlights that they show in open threes for the Celtics, great ball movement. Had it, and I won't say the ball was stagnant on occasion, but just, yeah, again, they jumped past lanes and got interceptions in the victory. And it's frustrating. You sort of nitpick here. Some of the things, if you went back over the 3 losses, again, I think there's some similarities. Again, getting down. I mean, back and forth game in the first quarter against the Atlanta Hawks. And I think the Hawks showed you in the first quarter on Tuesday night that they weren't going to go away. They just weren't going to go away. There were 13 lead changes and 8 ties in the first quarter. Celtics were up 2, extended the lead in the second quarter, up by 11. But then Atlanta started battling back, down just 7, going to the fourth. And outscored the Celtics, hold the Celtics to 25 points in that fourth quarter. And a fourth quarter where Derrick White had his way, 4 of 4 behind the three-point line. And he had 12 of the Celtics' 25 points in that quarter. Tatum had just 2 points in the fourth quarter, 0 of 4 from the field, 0 of 2 behind the line, behind the three-point line. And Brown in that fourth quarter, I want to get back to it in my notes here, but Brown missed a couple of free throws. And Atlanta, when Jaylen Brown missed free throws, didn't take advantage on the very next possession. But again, that's 2 points right there that you did not get. It didn't happen there in that fourth quarter. And again, Brown hit a jumper to put him up 3, 116-113. You're thinking, okay. Tatum had a 3-rim out. Hawks took the timeout. Celtics had a foul to give. Okunwu, again, offensive rebound, putback. Hawks up by 1. They win the game by 1. But where was that point? I don't think it was in the third quarter. Brown missed a couple of free throws. And Atlanta just did not capitalize on the very next possession. And I thought, okay, it's right there. There it was. 108-108. Brown, 2 free throws, missed them both. Hawks again, missed. But then White hit a 3 to put the Celtics up by 3, 111-108. You're thinking ball game right there, right? But Atlanta answered quickly. Brown hit another three to make it a four-point game. Again, you're thinking game over right there. But Nance hit a three to make it a one game with that assist. Jalen Johnson, triple-double. Brown a jumper, up by 3. But couldn't get it done because that was it for the Celtics. Brown hit the jumper, and that was their final basket. But this NBA Cup, I think there's too much on it. And you can say that now, well, you're 0-1 in pool play. I think they're putting too much into it. I love the floor Tuesday night at TD Garden. I was perfectly fine with the floor and what it looked like. But the NBA Cup overall, I don't know. There was one positive out of it. I'm not getting any comments here on the NBA Cup, and I think that's pretty much speaks exactly to what I'm saying. It's an in-season tournament. The hype is not worth it. It's just not there. There are going to be, 4 teams that go to Las Vegas in December? Semifinals and championship December 14th and 17th. The Celtics are not eliminated. Group C, Celtics, Hawks, Cavaliers, Bulls, and Wizards. You've got the Cavaliers next week. That game is hyped up all by itself because you're going to be looking at the top 2 teams in the East, and it very well could be that the Cleveland Cavaliers are still perfect on the season going into that matchup at TD Garden next week against the Celtics. 6 groups, 5 teams from the same conference. 8 teams to the quarterfinals. That is a knockout round, December 14th through 17th and 17th. And the one thing that I heard Drew Carter and Brian Scalabrine touch on, because I'm reading a book right now, Terry Francona's book, and I've been reading it now, it seems like, for months. Did it after the Red Sox years, Terry Francona. And it's with Dan Shaughnessy. And he talked about how there was one trip after winning the World Series. I guess it was early 2005 when the Red Sox were going to Japan. But what you learned in the book was Terry Francona's staff wasn't going to get paid for making that trip. For coaching, not for the manager, but his staff, that's big. That was a potential for big money. That was a sticking point. But what I heard from Drew Carter and Brian Scalabrine was you get to the semifinal, you get to the quarterfinals, there's some money. You get to the semifinals, there's more money. You get to the finals, there's even more money. And not only do the players get paid if they make it to the finals of the NBA Cup, but so does the coaching staff as well. That's huge to me. That's a great job by the NBA, Players Association, coaches involved in it as well. They get paid for that as well because that's big money for coaches. For the players, maybe it's their tip money for the rest of the year. I don't know. But if you're not in it and you're semifinals and championship, it's a couple of days off for everybody else. That's why I think teams look at it. The other teams in the league say, okay, there's 4 teams going to Las Vegas. We get a couple of days to put things back together. It's part of my random thoughts. Cavaliers, another random thought, 12-0 to start the season with Monday's victory against the Bulls. Warriors open up the 15-16 season with 24 straight wins. Cavaliers now 6-0 at home, 6-0 on the road. Play the 76ers in Philadelphia Wednesday, Bulls Friday, Charlotte Sunday, then the matchup at TD Garden on the 19th, which is next week against the Celtics. Numbers of the night when we come back. Celtics fall. We had comments going. Keep them going for segment number 3 as well. Pascal, Mike, appreciate you checking in with us here as we continue with the Locked On Celtics postcast. And Norman Person here. I'm sorry. I thought normal person here. I read that completely wrong. I was going to go Norm on the bar stool from Cheers. Normal person here. There we go. Sorry about that, normal person here. That's the handle. That's a pretty good one. Numbers tonight. Look ahead next. Locked On Celtics postcast presented by FanDuel. Get ready to tackle the NFL action with FanDuel's America's #1 sports book. Because right now, new customers can bet $5, get $150 in bonus bets if you win that first $5 wager. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL all in one place. So when you get that hunch this Sunday in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today. You'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. Again, FanDuel.com. Never waste a hunch and make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. All right, numbers of the night, because we're getting into Derrick White here. He was terrific. He really was. And a big part. I mean, Derrick White doesn't go 4 for 4 on the three-point line in the fourth quarter. Atlanta probably walks away with it, right? Celtics now 9-3. Split so far with the Atlanta Hawks on the season. Derrick White, double figures now in all 12 games of this season. Celtics, 90-plus through 3 for the 7th time in 12 games, up 91-84 going to the fourth quarter. Derrick White, 20 or more for the 5th time this season, double figures in all 12 games, 4 or more threes, had 7, and he's got 4 more threes in the game. You talk about Peyton Pritchard, Derrick White's been right there too with the three-pointers. Derrick White was terrific. Just looking at his game so far, just Derrick White on the season, had it on Brown. 24 in the season opener, 23, 21, 26, 14, and 15 each of his previous 2 games against Brooklyn and Milwaukee, but going off. Had a huge night. And the Celtics needed it. Brown, 14 of 22, 3 of 6 on the three-point line, just 6 of 10 at the free throw line. Tatum made his living at the line, 5 of 16 overall, 2 of 9. Tatum may have tweaked his ankle. He was questionable on the injury report on Monday and into Tuesday. He was able to play. White, 31 points, knocked down 7 threes. Brown, 37, season high for both. But the bench, 12 points total. Pritchard, 2 of 8 from behind the three-point line. Hauser, a couple of threes, including 1 late in the quarter early on. He had 6. Nothing else from the Celtics bench. 0, nada, nothing. So White doing a terrific job. Celtics, again, 90 or more points through 3 quarters for the 7th time in 12 games. But the defense, Hawks shot better than 50%. What's on tap? Off to New York. Hopefully, see what time they get into the with the plane and then getting to the hotel. Second game back-to-back Wednesday against the Nets. So you go from there. Thursday, Friday off, home against Toronto on Saturday. Home game against the Cavaliers next Tuesday. So the Celtics now, they've been almost every other game, every other day playing. You're gonna get some more days off, maybe 2 and 3 days off in between. With last Friday's win against the Nets, Celtics have won 5 straight against Brooklyn and 11 of the last 12 matchups. That goes back to February of 2022. So, tough one. 117-116 the final. Brown 37, White 31, Tatum 20. Not a whole heck of a lot more scoring after that. On the other side, Daniels. And I know, no Trae Young. You might have been checking in. No Trae Young, okay. They've got other injuries too. Dyson Daniels, 12 of 21 overall, 28.7 assists. Johnson, the triple-double, 18, 13 rebounds, 10 assists. 19 from Larry Nance Jr., Okongwu, 15 also off the bench, 7 of 11. They were combined 14 of 21 off the bench and 6 of 10 at the line. Okongwu, the game-winning basket. Celtics had an opportunity, a potential game winner from Jaylen Brown, no good. And the Hawks do pick up the victory. We're going to be right back with you on Wednesday night within minutes of the final buzzer for our latest Locked On Celtics postcast, as the Celtics are going to try to avoid a second straight loss. NBA Cup, gave you the numbers of the night. We go from there. One more comment. Mike checking in. For tomorrow, do you think the Celtics play Brown back-to-back or even play Tatum since he tweaked his ankle? I don't think they go without both, but I could absolutely see Tatum not playing tomorrow night. And it might be conversation. I don't know how those things go. Hey, Jason, we've got a couple of days off after tomorrow. Jaylen Brown's going to be out. We need you. Or, hey, we got to play a back-to-back Jaylen Brown. Tatum's going to be out. It's going to be interesting to see. I'll look at the injury report tomorrow. You can follow me on the X at Lennox on Hoops. If there's something there, I will throw it up there. Thanks to our sponsors, Mint Mobile, FanDuel. As always, we do thank you as well. Available wherever you get your podcasts. We always appreciate the participation from those with us on the Locked On Sports Boston YouTube channel. We do thank you for making the Locked On Celtics podcast with John Corrales and the Locked On Celtics postcast your first listen every day, free and available wherever you get your podcasts, and also on the Locked On Sports Boston YouTube channel as well. Celtics lose in the final seconds to the Atlanta Hawks, playing without their star, Trae Young. As always, we'll see you tomorrow night. As always, we do say thank you and tip our cap to you as well, our loyal listeners and our viewers on the Locked On Sports Boston YouTube channel. Locked On Sports Boston, number one place to hang out immediately after every game. Locked On Sports, your team, your Celtics.